the East Coast Reflector TechNet number 632 on this July 29th of 2025. Certainly not much left of July, is there? Man, oh man, I don't know where this month has gone. I got one quick announcement here. Some of you that were on the morning brew have probably heard, and if you saw it on Facebook, we added a new check-in feature. You can now check in from your email address by simply putting your call sign in an email and send it to text@ecr.radio. Text@ecr.radio. Just put your call sign in. That's all. That's all it's going to recognize is your call sign. So once again, that's just another way to text in. We thought some of our DX stations that check into our nets that have to pay text in, this certainly might save them $1 or $2 down the road. Of course, we still have our text line at 716-317-9050. Nothing's changed there. But once again, that's text@ecr.radio. And again, only your call sign. Right along with Roger, CO4QMM, Scott, W2BLT, and Vicky, K8KY on the log, as always. We'll be doing this session here tonight. As always, we'll start out with our team members. See if we have any silent keys from the East Coast Reflector family to remember. Joe is here, KD2FTB, just snuck into the green room. He's here with the celebrity of the week. So we'll see if we have any new system users, new users to this net. Get them up front, and we'll go to stations with amateur radio-related questions. And our question tonight was 7:59 when we came up with it, but there have been some thoughts, and over the years we've had some questions about moving the time of the TechNet to an hour earlier. Well, the question tonight, would you prefer the TechNet to start an hour earlier? We're not saying we're going to do it. We're just going to take a little survey to see if a 7 o'clock East Coast start for this net would benefit people. And then down the road we'll make a decision. So that's our question tonight. Kind of a yes or no. I know it's going to hinder our West Coast people. But we'll just see what the survey says. This morning on the morning brew was what temperature do you prefer? And I think it came out to 92.7 or something like that degrees. So we'll do another survey tonight. So do I have any system team members? Any of the team members have anything that they would like to report tonight? Tonight I had you right on the log sheet, so I couldn't forget you. Good evening, Kevin.
Yeah, good evening, Dick and everyone, and I knew you wouldn't forget me. Anyway, I'm here tonight with this week's Swap and Shop. I have two listings, the same as last week. First one is from Henry, WB4 IVB in Corbin, Kentucky. Has some Motorola CM200s for sale. They are UHF, 438 to 470 megahertz, 25 watt, 4 channel, with 16-pin accessory connector in the back. Perfect for building all-star nodes. Complete with accessories, programming, including the 16-pin connector programming. You can get the rim light all-star fob from Repeater Builder to interface it with a Raspberry Pi or whatever computer. And Henry also he makes cables for these radios for any interfacing requirements. Just email him with any questions. Asking $140 each, including shipping, and PayPal is accepted. And Henry's email is wb4ivb@hotmail.com. And Dave, WA2 KJC in Clio, Michigan, has a Ramsey COM3 service monitor for sale. Prefers local pickup, that way the buyer can test it before buying, and he's open to offers. And Dave's email is wa2kjc@gmail.com. All right, before I time it out here, back to you, Dick, PE3BZ.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Thanks for all you do to keep track of all that stuff for the ECR every week. Appreciate you. Joe is here. Before I get to Joe, we didn't have any silent keys pop up, at least on my phone here tonight anyway, so that's a good sign. So I'll put it out to the group. I forgot to do this a couple weeks ago, and somebody had called me on it and reminded me that I didn't do it. So does anybody have a silent key from the East Coast Reflector family that they would like to have remembered here this evening?
Yes, good evening, Dick. Doug Payne, Conroe, Texas, K5OIT, K5OIT.
That's K5OIT, and it's Duck. That's not coming up on QR. Is it K5OIT? Is that correct?
That is correct. My wife is in the process of taking that call sign, so it was removed in order to do the change. So this was recent, though.
Well, that's probably why. Well, if we could please have a moment of silence for K5OIT, Doug, from Texas. A silent key. A moment of silence, please. Thank you, everyone. Whoever that was that wanted him remembered, thank you as well. I didn't catch who it was. Let me go to Joe. 82TFB, our celebrity of the week.
Hey, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Excuse me. I would say the TechNet is fine where it is. If you want to go an hour earlier, that's fine with me too. It doesn't matter because it's way after I get out of the office anyway. So, as with many of these episodes, the primary source was the English language Wikipedia, and is therefore subject to the Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike 4.0 license. Now, with the legalities out of the way, Barry was born on the second day of 1909, the son of Baron and Jojo in Phoenix, Arizona. After performing poorly academically as a high school freshman, his parents sent him to Staunton Military Academy in Staunton, Virginia, where he participated in varsity football, basketball, track, and swimming, and was senior class treasurer. He graduated from the academy in 1928 and enrolled in the University of Arizona, but dropped out only after a year. After the United States entered the Second World War, Barry received a reserve commission in the United States Army Air Force, the predecessor to today's U.S. Air Force. He trained as a pilot and was assigned to the Ferry Command, a newly formed unit that flew aircraft and supplies to war zones worldwide. He spent most of the war flying between the U.S. and India via the Azores and North Africa or South America, Nigeria, and Central Africa. Barry also flew what was colloquially called the hump, one of the most dangerous routes for supply planes during the war. The route required aircraft to fly directly over the Himalayas in order to deliver desperately needed supplies to the Republic of China. And so I don't chime out the repeaters, I'll be right back. Following the end of the war, Barry was a leading proponent of creating the United States Air Force Academy and later served on the Academy's Board of Visitors. The Visitor Center at the Academy is now named in his honor. He remained in the Army Air Reserve after the war, and in 1946, at the rank of colonel, he founded the Arizona Air National Guard. Barry had quite a successful second career as the United States Senator from Arizona and as Republican nominee for U.S. President. With those hints, you probably guessed who once held the call signs 6 Bravo Papa India or 6BPI, Kilo 3 Uniform India Golf or K3 UIG, and Kilo 7 Uniform Golf Alpha or K7 UGA. Barry Goldwater. The last one is still used as the Central Arizona DX Association club call. He became a silent key on May 29th, 1998 at the age of 89 due to complications from massive stroke in 1996. I might also add that when I read this for the W2SO, the Lancaster Amateur Radio Club, actually had somebody participating in that net that said they got a QSL card from Barry Goldwater. Kilo Delta 2 Tango Fox Bravo, back to net control.
Alrighty, thank you, Joe, for the Celebrity of the Week. We appreciate it. Always interesting. Alrighty, folks, step away for a moment. Let's go to new users. Anybody that has never checked into the TechNet before, you may have been on the system or the Morning Brew, but you've never checked into the TechNet. Please come with your call sign twice. Well, if that was someone coming in on the Detroit repeater there, GM repeater, all we got was noise, no audio at all. New users to the TechNet. Don't be shy. Push the button and come say hello with your call sign twice, please.
KR4FEQ, Kilo Romeo 4 Foxtrot Echo Quebec, Michael in Gainesville, Florida.
BA3RAW, Victor Alpha 3, Romeo Alpha Whiskey, Ray in Sarnia, Ontario.
Kilo Mike 5, Golf Hotel. Kilo Mike 5, Golf Hotel, Michael, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Alrighty, looks like we do have 3 new call signs. A KR4FEQ, Michael. We have VA3RAW, Ray up in Petrolia, Ontario, Canada. and KM5GH. KM5GH, do you have a name?
Kilo Mike 5. Here, Mike.
EXV. John, Gainesville, Florida. That's KR4 EXV.
Romeo 4, Delta Yankee Echo, Mike from Birmingham, Alabama.
KM5GH, name here is Mike. Mike Indio, Kilo Echo.
Alrighty, let's hold it up there for just a moment. We got KR4, I believe it was Delta Yankee Edward, is that correct, Mike?
That's correct. Over.
Alrighty, we'll be back to you shortly. We had KR4 EXV at John in High Springs, Florida. We had a KM5GH, and I still need to get KM5GH name. You were walking in there a little bit. Could you come back with your name, please?
Name here is Mike. Mike Indio, Kilo Echo.
Well, I guess we have a plethora of mics today. And, all right, let's go to the top of this list, and we'll run these, and we'll see if we have any more. Let's go to KR4 FEQ. Michael, welcome to the system. Welcome to the TechNet. And if you don't care to answer the question tonight, would you prefer the TechNet started an hour soon?
Sure, this is KR4 FEQ. I would say it doesn't matter either way. I'll try to attend. It's well after I get out of work, so I'm down for that. I will turn it back over to Net Control 73, everyone. KR4 FEQ clear.
Well, thanks, Michael. Do you go by Mike or Michael? This is Dick, WSB2JPQ. We can put anything in you want, seeing that you're new to the system.
Roger that. Mike, Mikey, Michael. Call me anything but late for dinner. Over.
Vic will put you in for Mike then, I guess. Thanks for being here, and I see that you do not have a current email address on your QRZ.com page, so you might want to look into getting a current email address so we can send you a welcome letter. Let's go to Ray, VA3RAW. Welcome to the TechNet, Ray. And once again, the question is, we're trying to take a little survey tonight to see if by moving the TechNet an hour earlier in the evening on the East Coast time, if that would be beneficial to any. Well, good evening, Ray.
Yeah, good evening. This is BA3RAW. Yeah, I just, first time checking in, obviously, and I listened to a lot. And so as far as the time, I'm fine with, I like the time now, but either way it's fine. But it works so well for me this time, so, because everything's usually done by the time this net is ready to start. But, you know, I've listened for a long time, and you convinced me to check in. It's a great group of guys, and, yeah, it's helps pass the time some days. It's nice listening. So, anyways, yeah, good evening to everybody on the net there, and I'll pass back to Net Control. It's DA3RAW. We'll be just monitoring.
Thank you, Ray. Got a nice sounding all-star note as well. Thanks for being there. Another new one from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Another Mike. Got to run on mics here, I guess, tonight. KM5GH. Good evening to you.
Good evening, KM5GH and everyone on the net. Name here is Mike Indio Kilo Echo, call sign KM5GH. I always thought it was Greatest Husband or Greatest Ham, and then my Elmers and other hams decided it was probably better Garbage Head or Goober Head. And as far as the time goes, I'm brand new, so it doesn't matter. I don't get off until 5, and I might be a little late if I'm able to get on. And I get home about 5:20 in the evening local time. With that, I'll let it go. You guys take care. Thank you for letting me on. Kilo Mike 5 at Golf Hotel.
Thank you, Mike. You as well. Sound great here coming into the East Coast. Thank you for being there tonight. John, High Springs, Florida. Looks like you as well. Brand new ham with a KR4EXV. Good evening, John.
Good evening. Yes, I am fresh and new to the hobby for just within a couple of months, maybe a month, and I'm enjoying listening and trying to get on. Time-wise, doesn't matter to me at all. I appreciate the time. Look forward to the future. KR4EXV.
Vicky's got you down for an either. We'll see how this pans out here tonight. Thank you, John. Another Mike, new to the system, KR4DYE. Looks like you're a brand new amateur as well with the KR4 call. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, yes. I think I received my license about May the 15th, so I'm due. Appreciate being able to check in with you. Looking forward to listening to the net. As far as the time goes, it really doesn't matter to me. So however it works best for everyone else suits me fine. KR4DY.
Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you for being there. We got you down for either as well. Who else do we have that is new to this net, has never checked into this net before, and would like to get on the list and get up at the top of the list here tonight? Call signs twice and slowly if you've never checked into this net before. This is Dick, WB2JPQ.
EW3HHF, EW3HHF, in and out, morning.
Good morning to you, Joseph. DW3HHF from the Philippines, who was in and out tonight, but his morning. Thank you for stopping by. There was a station trying to get in from Orlando, and you were just the repeater. You're much too noisy. Who else do I have? I'd like to get in to this net that's never checked into this tech net before.
Echo 7, Oscar Mike Uniform. Kilo Echo 7, Oscar Mike Uniform, in and out.
Okay, KE7OMU, you have been in here before. Thank you for stopping by, though. At to take you off the list here and you can call in with the when we get to the 7s tonight. Where are the 7s? So they're about halfway down the list. Incidentally, we're going to start with 3s tonight. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0, 1, and 2. 2, of course, was first last week, so they're last this week. Last call for new stations that have never checked into this net before.
KJ5 MEG, Kilo Juliet 5, Mike Echo Golf, in and out.
KF8, DJQ, Kilo Foxtrot 8, Delta Juliet, Quebec.
KC3, UXM, Kilo Charlie 3, Uniform X-Ray Mike, in and out.
EAWI.
Soldier P4 DCN, Whiskey
hold up
Papa
here.
4 Delta Charlie November, in and out.
Let me grab the next list. Good evening to WP4DCN. WP4PCN, or DCN rather. Puerto Rico. Looks like you were visiting perhaps in Orlando. You were in and out. AA8WI. Bernie, was that you? Your note came up. You have been in here before, so if that was you, Bernie, I'm going to have to ask you to wait for the 8th call district. You were flagged that you have checked into this net before. We got John from Cleveland, Texas, new to the system. AC3UXM. Who also was in and out. Don't know what about all these in and outs here tonight? You could always stay and talk to us a minute. We got Mr. Magic Cable from Bowling Green, Ohio. And we got Jeremy, new to the system. KJ5MEG. And he also was in and out. So I guess I'm going to go right to you, Kevin. Good evening to you. And our question tonight is, would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner? How would that affect you? KF8DJQ. Good evening, Kevin.
Good evening, Dick. Good evening, everybody. 8 o'clock is good for me. Our local club here is the net is starts the either way is fine, but listening to TechNet before, so I'll sit back and learn something this evening. Thanks much. KF8DJQ, back to net.
That's another thing that we didn't think about either. There's a lot of meetings on Tuesday night, a lot of club meetings we found out over the 12 years that we've been doing this net. Just a survey, we're not changing anything yet. It's just we've been thinking about it, or at least I've been thinking about it for quite some time, and we mentioned it, and we said, hey, let's run with this tonight and see what survey says. Thanks, Kevin. Okay, let's make this last call. Last call for new users to this net. If you've never checked into this net, please give us your call sign twice.
Fortunately, I was able to pull some strings, and those friends of yours, all the Lucas hits.
Hearing nothing, we got 5 brand new users out of that, which is really nice. So welcome to the 5 new East Coast Reflector users. Stations with an amateur radio related question. If you have an amateur radio related question, please give me your call sign. We'll put it out and hopefully we can find an answer for you this evening.
My wife and I remembers that the second was right back on HA to make up for twice. Take my car. Like a girl. Cash out.
KF8 DJQ. Well, I guess I'll jump right in. I had the magic cable was, I got it to transmit to my local repeater, but I could never get it to receive from my local repeater using DP switch going to a Raspberry Pi going to a HT tuned to the repeater frequency. So I got halfway there, and I got stuck.
No, I think we've talked about this before. If I'm not mistaken, your local repeater, correct me if I'm wrong, does not have Echo Link or an All-Star node connected to it. Am I correct?
That is correct. I was hoping to use my radio to through my node to communicate back and forth with her over RF. But like I said, I could transmit, but receive just didn't work. But I don't know. Probably won't work, but I tried.
Okay, sounds like you're setting your node up as a remote base. Sure, if you can get into the repeater, you certainly should be able to hear it. Sure, you have the right frequency, the right PL tone set up on your link radio.
Yes, but now that you mentioned remote base, there is a setting for that in, I believe it's in All-Star. I saw that somewhere. Is this a remote base? Yeah, it was in the All-Star page under nodes. Aha, okay. I'll try that. Thank you.
I don't want to mislead you. Maybe that isn't the right term. I mean, you're just, it's basically what you're using it for. You're using your link radio to receive another repeater and play it out your HT or whatever you got. So you're just kind of using it in reverse of what many others do, but certainly should work for you, especially if you can get into the repeater. Usually you're running lower power, you can't get into repeaters where you can always hear them. So something sounds like it's something relatively simple. You certainly ought to be able to hear the repeater, Kevin.
Going to be another hot one here today, and staying in the air conditioning, playing around is might be a good thing to do tomorrow.
Well, good luck. I know you've been fighting that for a long time. Hopefully we were some help here tonight. Who else do we have? Stations with an amateur radio related question.
November 4, Romeo Hotel Echo. November 4, Romeo Hotel Echo.
Oh, our buddy Roger, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Good evening, Roger. What can we do for you tonight, and what would it do to your time schedule if we were to change the tech net to an hour early?
Good evening, Dick. November 4, Romeo Hotel Echo. Regarding the start time, you got that have to unwind after the net and wake up early to run the brew. Whatever you decide is fine. I enjoyed the celebrity call sign of Senator Goldwater. I've told you before, Dick, one of my favorite quotes is, extremism, sense of liberty is no vice, and moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue. This morning's question about temperature, we here have had some unusually hot temperatures, 95 degrees Fahrenheit for the heat advisories of 105 to 110. So my question, Dick, do repeaters come from the factory with the factory operating temperatures or operating temperatures with the maximum or minimum before they would reduce power or shutting down? November 4, Romeo Hotel Echo.
Well, yeah, there would be a spec on, there would be an operating spec, Roger. But, you know, most of the repeater shelters, buildings, if it's, you know, any of a site, all commercial sites would have a climate controlled or air conditioning of some sort. So, you know, if it's in somebody's back aluminum shed, I guess it would get really, really hot. And, but to answer your question, yeah, they do have operating specs, and I'm sure some will shut down with heat. But you know, I'm not privy to all that information. We can put out to the group and take a couple minutes and get an answer for you, and just see who's cooked the repeater over the years due to high temperature. Anybody got a war story that they would like to share with Roger and I?
KRAT, I can tell you the MTR 2000 does shut down power at high temp.
Do you know what it goes down to? You know, you kind of read my mind. I just wonder, like an MTR or an MSF 5000, just wonder what the threshold is on those.
If I remember right, the MTR is 100 watts out. I think it shuts down to 50 watts when it's, but I don't know what temperature range it shuts down in, but 50 sticks in my mind.
3 dB down, that would sound about right. But hey, thanks, Rick. Good to talk to you. Thanks for always having KRAT on the system. Brings a lot of users to the plate here, if you will, in the morning, and of course on our tech nets and our nets. Good evening to David, K4FXC, with a comment.
K4FXC, I'd say it depends on the repeater. All repeaters today, I would say, pretty much have thermal management of some sort, any current one. But how they handle shutdown and what temperature that is programmed, or I'm not sure that the clear specs are readily available to anybody with a service tech. Yeah, ham repeaters have a run, you know, like for example, the net tonight, repeaters will be up solid for 2 to 3 hours, and that tends to really take a toll on a lot of commercial gear that's not designed for the super high duty cycles. So power amp failures are quite common. You know, usually you want to run the power amp well below the rated output for commercial service, for like intermittent, you know, where you basically have a 520 duty cycle. You're transmitting for 5 minutes, then idle for 20 minutes type scenario. But the bad news is I know a lot of the ham grade repeaters. I don't think they really have a whole lot in the way of thermal management. So it's but commercial stuff does, and it's so I don't know how easy it is to burn up some of these repeaters, but I know the ham mobile rigs. A lot of them you can burn up pretty easily if you just sit on the key for a while, unfortunately. But that's highly dependent and highly variable. Whatever the case with ham duty cycles, you got to be careful. That's just a rule of thumb. K4FXC.
David? Well, we get a kick out of this, Roger. My first repeater in the late 60s was in the refrigerator. When it got too hot, a fan came on, and when it got too cold, a light bulb came on. So that was my climate control. What else do I have? Stations with amateur radio related question. I guess I should have gone. I didn't mean to not go back to you. I should have gone back to see if that answered your question or if you had any follow-up. I'm sorry, Roger. Go ahead.
Thanks, Dick. I was too busy laughing. I'm sure I wasn't the only one. I thank everyone for their reply. November 4, Romeo Teleco.
Oh, someday I'll tell you about our first idea was on a 78 record player. You can read between the lines there and figure that out, but that was our first CW idea. The needle made contact with a copper-clad circuit board that had the dots and the dashes on, if you will, and that was the first CW idea. New stations with an amateur radio-related question. This is Dick, WB2JPQ.
November Yankee Sierra 4G1 NYS with a comment on the question earlier.
Evening, Stephen, from the Philippines, 4G1 NYS. Your comment, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Dick. My comment to our fellow ham who asked about the climate control, temperature operability of the repeaters. In my experience, I have seen some equipment such as the Yaitu Delta Romeo 2 X-ray, the Yaitu DR2X, and all of those VHF-based and repeaters. Mostly those exported here in the Philippines have a maximum operable temperature of 60 degrees. Then they already have the automatic warning that if your equipment is hot, they would alarm. To counter that, most of the repeater houses, those who have set up repeaters for my club, mostly put them with electric fans or air conditioners just to keep the unit down. Thank you, Dick. 7 please. 401 November Yankee Sierra.
Thank you, Stephen. And yeah, those DRs are nothing but two mobiles in a box. So, like David said, the duty cycle for those is much lower than a full-blown repeater. That's certainly something to think about when you're building a repeater. Many of us over the years have taken a couple mobiles, one receiver and one transmitter, and put together. You got to consider the duty cycle, and you definitely have to cool them no matter what. Who else has got an amateur radio-related question? Call signs twice, please.
I just got the radio. Hi, am I coming out?
Well, you're coming up on IRLP node 4865. Could we have a call sign, and we'll take a question from you, sir?
Like I said, I just got this radio. I don't know nothing about it. I'm trying to get new into the business.
Well, do you have a call sign, sir?
Not at the moment, I don't. Sorry.
Talk to you, sir. You need an amateur call sign to get on amateur frequencies. Who else do we have with an amateur radio-related question tonight? Well, the South Coast Reflector came up, and I thought I heard somebody talking in the background. Was that a question from the South Coast? Well, I guess not. You can sure tell it's summertime. Nice evenings, whether it be hot or not. People are out enjoying the nice weather, at least up in this part of the country. Well, let me shoot it over to Roger, KO4QMM. He's going to take the first part of our call districts tonight, starting with number 3. So, Roger, over to you. Thanks, everybody. Too bad we didn't have any more amateur-related questions, but that sometimes happens in the summertime. So, see everybody tomorrow morning at the Open for the Brew. This is Dick, WB2JPQ. Thanks, Dick. This is KO4QMM, and we got Vicky on the logging, KEABKY. Thank you, Vicky. Oh, looks like it's going to be a quicker night. All right, move on. Fun stuff here, and our question of the night is, would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner? And I kind of like the 8 o'clock. Just seems like a good time to me. And so on that note, this is KO4QMM, Roger in Florida. I will be taking care of districts 3 through 7. And we'll start with the 3s. If you have a 3 in your call sign, want to join us this evening, come with your call sign, twice and slow. WB3G.
Mr. Echoes, Kilo Niner, Tango, Juliet Sierra, K9EJS, in and out. Echo 3, India, Quebec, uniform.
All right, from the bottom up, we got VE3IQU, Reg, Brampton, Ontario, Canada. WB3GTM, Mike, Westford, Vermont. And KD3ATQ via text line, Jim, Houston, PA. Is there any other 3s?
Whiskey 3 November Hotel. Whiskey 3 November Hotel.
It's always good to check twice. And we got Chuck, North Tonawanda, New York, K2CMA. And we got Owen, Warrior, Alabama, W3NH. All right, let's go to the top of the line here via text line, KD3ATQ, Jim, Easton, PA. What would you prefer, the TechNet started an hour sooner?
Good evening, Roger, Vicky, and the rest of the net. 8 o'clock, to be perfectly honest, works better for me, but I'll make it 7:30 if we switch it to 7. Back to net control, KD3ATQ.
Thank you, Jim. Looks like Vicky put you down for stay. That's kind of what I said. All right, let's move on to Mike, Westford, Vermont, WB3GTM. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Roger. Good evening, everyone on the net. As far as the time, I have no preference. I'm fine as it is, and if you guys found some reason you needed to change it, that's fine too. I'm flexible. Okay, thanks for checking me in, and 7-3 and back to WB3GTM.
Thanks for joining us this evening, Mike. You have a good evening. Let's move on to Reg, Brampton, Ontario, Canada, VE3IQU. Good evening, Reg. Would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner? VE3IQU. Reg, are you there? Alrighty then. We're going to move on to W3NH, Owen, Warrior, Alabama. I like that name, Owen. That's the lake I live on.
W3NH, well, that's a real nice lake. Regarding the question about moving the net up an hour, we're on Central here, so the difference between 6 and 7 is not that much, although some of our listeners may be eating supper or tied up at 6, so, but, I mean, we can handle it either way. It's fine. Back to you.
Thanks, Owen. Another either on the list. Either or. All right, let's move on to via text line. Les, Claremont, Florida. KK SED. Good evening, Les.
Good evening, Roger, and everybody on the net. Caught me by surprise here. Hey, it doesn't matter to me. I'm on either or, so good net this evening. KK4 SAT back to net.
Caught you by surprise. I caught myself by surprise. Jumped right on the fours there. On that note, this is KO4QM Roger in Central Florida, and we're moving on to the fours. If you have a 4 in your call and want to join us this evening, answer the questions, get in on the logbook, come with your call sign twice and slow.
4 PPX, W4 PPX.
4 JJK.
Q4, ORK Mobile.
OSU, not for Ohio State University. On with
Very quick question from V3IQU.
Kilo Quebec 4, Golf Whiskey Oscar.
Whiskey 4, Foxtrot,
Kilo Quebec 4, Golf Whiskey Oscar.
W4F, W4 SWN.
Well, since you're at the bottom of the list there, BA3IQU. You have a question, comment?
Just a question. That is, did you get my transmission? Because all of a sudden the repeater disappeared at this end.
No, sir, I didn't. I even tried to call you a few times. So on that note, would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner? And good evening.
And a very good evening to you and everyone around the net. I hope you're copying this time. Anyhow, I guess I got shut down or something. Anyway, things are good here. The wife and I are fine and enjoying life. And as for the question, well, I would prefer the net to be exactly where it is now. An hour earlier would interfere with another net that I get involved in. So with that, I'll toss it back to you and hope you and the net and Dick out there are doing well. V3IQU.
Thanks, Reg. Good thing we got you in there. Yeah, you sound good now. Don't know what happened earlier, but we got you in the logbook, got your answer down. All right, and for the fours, we got W4FWN Dan, Sanford, Florida, KQ4GWO William, Wake Forest, North Carolina, K4KU Jason, Atlanta, Georgia, N4OSU Jerry, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, KQ4ORK Barry, Apopka, Florida, 4KJK, not going to have to look that one up. Not sure if that's correct. Oh, there it is. KQ4KJK Jason, and then we have W4PPX Don, Hollywood, Florida, via text line, KO4FRR Joe, Sorrento, Florida, KQ4GLY Chris, Parish, Florida, AC4BR Brian, Monticello, Kentucky. If you weren't heard there, come to your call sign if you have a 4. All right, nothing heard. Let's head up to via text line AC4BR Brian, Monticello, Kentucky. Would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner?
Good evening, Roger, and everybody on the net there. Got a little noise on my signal here on mobile at the moment. Hopefully I've got through just fine. The advancement is bad as both. I'd say do whatever y'all feel appropriate. We'll adjust accordingly. That's my take on it. Anyway, Roger, I'll turn it back over to you. This is AC4BR. Y'all have a good evening.
Hey, Brian, you have a good evening, too. And, yeah, you didn't do too bad there. Yeah, we're a little crackly, but 90% of it was good. Have a great evening. Thanks for joining us. Next, via text line, KQ4GLY, Chris, Parish, Florida. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Roger, and everyone on the net.
Roger.
With respect to the question, I would prefer at 7 p.m., seeing how my day starts at 03:30. Back to net, KQ4GLY.
All right, Vicky got you down for early. And thank you, Vicky, for logging, KEAVKY. And this is your net controller, Roger, in Central Florida. KO4QMM. I was looking at Joe's call sign while I was saying that. And let's go on to Joe, KO4FRR via text line, Good morning, Joe, and did you get any of that rainstorm a little bit ago?
Good evening, Roger. Did you say good morning? I think you said good morning. This is John KL4FR. I'm waiting to hear from the rain people. Hopefully, I keep my powers this evening. To answer the question, either or. It's been like this since I was doing the TechNet here, so it doesn't matter for me. KL4FR, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks for joining us, Joe. And yeah, I know you don't need any more of those bad lightning storms. That's for sure. And thanks for joining us. Let's move on to Don, Hollywood, Florida, W4PPX. Good evening, Don. And would you prefer an hour early?
Good evening, Roger, and Vicky, and everybody running the net. It doesn't really matter to me. Put me down with the majority, whichever way it falls. I'm retired, so I'm here most of the time. Back to net control.
All right, good evening to you too, Don. I got to figure out if it's morning or evening here. All wound up. Let's move on to Jason, Huntsville, Alabama, KQ4KJK. Good evening, Jason. Jason, are you there? KQ4KJK. That was pretty rough. I don't know if that was him or not, but let's move on to the next mobile, KQ4ORK, Apopka, Florida. Says mobile, hope we're hearing you, Barry.
Well, I am mobile, but stationary mobile now, so I think I'll be hitting the repeater without any problems. Hope everybody on the net is having a good evening, and if you're in the Central Florida, not getting too wet from this storm. Anyway, I'm usually in bed by this time, so earlier would work better for me. But whenever the majority rolls, I'll try and tune in when I can. Appreciate you picking me up. Back to net control, 73 KQ4 ORK in the mobile.
Yes, sir, Barry. You sound good there. And, man, we had a nice rainstorm here in Umatilla. Just enough to not have to run the sprinklers tomorrow, so that's a good thing. Thanks for joining us. Let's move on to Jerry, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, N4 OSU. Good evening, Jerry.
One and all, this is Jerry N4 OSU. Leave things like they are. N4 OSU, we're down.
Well, we got you, Jerry. Thanks for joining us this evening. This is KO4QMM. Let's move on to K4KU, Jason, Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey, Roger and Deke and everybody else in protection tonight. I'd like to remind everybody that we have the open mic at tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, so check us out. And as it goes to the TechNet, I favor leaving it at 8 p.m. I think we get a good number of folks from the West Coast, and I'm afraid that if we made this too early, we'd have trouble with the West Coast folks. So this is K4KU, back to next roll.
Thanks, Jason, and I enjoyed enjoy that open mic night. I enjoyed the question last weekend. Boy, you guys were pretty busy, or last week. You guys were pretty busy with that, so hope that continues. I enjoy it. Thanks for joining us. Let's move on to William, Wake Forest, North Carolina, KQ4 GWO. Would you prefer the TechNet started an hour earlier, William?
Thank you, Net Control. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Good question. 8 is fine with me. 7 is fine also. And, either or. Even once again, this is Kilo Quebec for Whiskey Oscar, 73.
Well, one thing tonight, everybody's, most people are just kind of either or, doesn't matter, so that's a good thing. Let's move on. Thanks for joining us there, William. Move on to Dan, Sanford, Florida, W4, SWN. How about you, Dan? Would you rather prefer TechNet started an hour sooner or later, or what?
Well, good evening, everyone on the net. This is W4FWN. I'm a definite for staying where it's at. Definite no for a change. I have a local net that meets on a different night, and it meets at 7. And it's always more difficult for me to meet at 7 than it is. It's just the way it works out for me. So I'm a definite no for the change. Back to Net Control. This is W4FWN.
All right, I think you got you down for a stay. All right, that was it for the 4s. It's always a good number to have there. I felt bad for Dick last weekend. He didn't have very much left over. I had all the good numbers. Let's move on to the 5s. This is KO4QMM, Net Controller for the Tuesday night TechNet. Anybody with a 5 in their call sign, come twice and slowly.
Good evening, Net Control. Please check in. Kilo, Charlie, 5, Alpha, Lima Hotel. That's KC5ALH, Paul, Big Springs.
Got to the 5s and got tumbleweeds. All right, we got Paul, Big Spring, Texas, KC5ALH. And we got Dax via text line, Prosper, Texas, W5DAX. All right, Dax, would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner? W5DAX. Are you there, sir? Well, I reckon he was a hit and run. Let's move on to Paul, Big Spring, Texas. KC5ALH. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening, and hello to everyone on the East Coast Reflector, KC5ALH, Paul, Big Spring, Texas. We definitely have the tumbleweeds, but when they end up in the yard, we catch them and break them all up and throw them in the trash bin where they belong. That's not something that we're excited to see out there rolling around in the yard. But for right now, Big Spring somehow has received 18 inches of rain just this summer.
net is way above what we would usually have by now, about 3 times the amount, and so the tumbleweeds can't find a home. Instead, we have green grass and all that, but plenty of mosquitoes. They seem to like the green and the wet, and if you go outside in the evenings, they will like you. So you'll have to watch out for that. Typically, we have a lot of days of over 100 this year, only 3 so far. By now, we would usually have 30, so only 10% of the usual there. It's still a hot summer, but just not as bad as it is sometimes. Anyway, you can put me down for a stay. You'll never catch me in the middle. Don't like that middle seat, so you can put me down for a stay. It's great just the way it is. All right, I'll give it back over to you. Wishing everybody a good evening. KC5ALH.
Thanks for joining us, Paul. And yeah, I lived in Phoenix, Arizona. I know a little bit about tumbleweeds, but not the mosquitoes there. They weren't that bad. But here in Florida, you walk outside at nighttime after rain, they'll start drilling for blood. Thanks for joining us. Anybody with a 6 in their call sign want to join us this evening, answer the question, get in on the logbook. This is Roger, Central Florida, UML. Anybody with a 6 in their call sign, come twice and slow.
KO6IXN, KO6IXN.
Delta Yankee 9, India Victor Zulu. Delta Yankee 9, India Victor Zulu.
Kilo November 6, Golf, Sierra Golf. Kilo November 6, Golf, Sierra Golf.
Delta Whiskey 3, Hotel Lima India.
That last call sign, could you come back again, twice and slow?
Delta Whiskey 3, Hotel Lima India. Delta Whiskey 3, Hotel Lima India.
That was quite noisy there. All right, from the top or bottom up, K6AAN via text line Mike, Valley Springs, California. KN6GSG Barry, Moss Beach, California. And KO6IXN via text line Scott, Eastville, California. And our buddy Charles, EC6UFM via text line Catay, California. Good evening, Charles, and I'm sure you heard the question of the evening. Would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner? Being in California, probably not, but never know. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, good evening, Roger, and everyone on the TechNet. Thanks to Vicki for keeping the log in the good shape she always does, and to you and Dick and Lee Scott coming up here in a few minutes for herding the cats tonight. As far as the question is concerned, I have to vote for keeping it where it is because if not, I'll get here about 5 o'clock my time anyway because of other issues that I have to deal with before the net that cannot be moved further forward in time. So I have to leave it there. But otherwise, here in beautiful downtown Guatay, California, we had an event today that for the time in
California Highway Patrol came up and set up a speed trap in the middle of Guatai, which is a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. And in the first 45 minutes, they caught 4 people doing in excess of 100 miles an hour through town. All 4 of them, they impounded their vehicles, put them in handcuffs, and took them down to lockup. They ended up writing 65 tickets today for people exceeding the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. Like I say, they got up here for the first time in 20 years, and of course everybody was used to driving however fast they wanted to, so they kind of dealt with that, I guess. But in any event, it's getting hot here again now. We've been unusually cold, but today we did make it up to 95, and for the rest of the week they're predicting 95 to 105, so we'll see how that goes. But we were kind of getting used to that 80-degree weather and 40-degree nights. But otherwise, only other thing I had going on today, Roger, was try as I might, from 12 meters to 40 meters was wide open here in California today, and try as I might, I could not find either you or Dick on FT8. But maybe I'll try it again tomorrow, Roger. Good one, great job. Everybody take care. 7-3, KC6, UFM, back to net control.
I got most of that, Charles. You started breaking up at the end there. Something about FT, something that I don't know, but a little bit breaking up. And yeah, they fixed that speed limit stuff here in Florida. Anybody over 100 miles an hour is straight to jail. So I hope it slows them down. Thanks for joining us, Charles. Even though you broke up a little bit at the end there, you know what I'm saying. Have a good evening. Next, via text line, Scott from Eastville, California. KO6IXN, another Californian. Would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner?
Good evening, Roger, Vicky, and everybody on the net. Coming to you from beautiful Lake Hemet, California, out on a camping trip for the week. As far as the question is concerned, 8 p.m. works for me. That's 5 p.m. for us here on the West Coast, so it's about quitting time for work, so it works out perfectly. I hope everyone has a fantastic night, and back to net, KO6IXN.
Thanks for joining us this evening, and I'm enjoying it. Glad you joined us, even though you're on vacation. So enjoy it. Hope you join us again. Another California, KN6 GSG, Barry, Moss Beach, California. Good evening, Barry.
Good evening, Roger, and the rest of the net. I'm actually on vacation in Anacortes, Washington, and be back in Moss Beach in a few days, where the high temperature is 60 all week. Some days are 60 in Moss Beach. I'll be looking forward to that. As far as the question goes, I say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So just leave it like it is. Although if you want to move it to up an hour later, that would be okay too. But actually, just leave it at 8 o'clock for me. Thank you. This is KS6 GSC. Back to the net.
Let me get a hold of it here. Thanks for joining us there, Barry. And we go to K6AAN via text line, Mike, Valley Springs, California. Good evening, Mike. Would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner?
Well, good evening, Roger, and everybody on the net. I'd like to see it match the needs that are running it, because I know you're on the East Coast and it makes for a late night, so whatever's the most comfortable for you guys is okay with me. I'm retired, so an hour earlier either way doesn't make much difference. Tuesdays are a slow night around my area here for nets and all that, so this is one of the main attractions for the evening. I'd make it whatever works the best for you guys. I know some of you got to get up and run the brew in the morning, that sort of thing, so this kind of makes for a late night. Back to you. This is K6AAM.
O'clock, and I'm kind of retired too, and you know, it's just once a night, so it doesn't really bother me. I have fun with it, that's for sure. All right, and let's move on to the 7. This is KO4QMM with the Tuesday Night Tech Net. Anybody anywhere with the 7 in your call sign?
KK7OGC, KK7OGC.
Well, we got you, Fred, from Reno, Nevada, KK7OGC. Anybody else with a 7 in their call sign?
Delta Whiskey 3, Hotel Lima India. Delta Whiskey 3, Hotel Lima India. Delta Yankee Niner India Victor Zulu. Delta Yankee Niner India Victor Zulu.
Alright, we got KK7OGC Fred, Reno, Nevada, and any other numbers Scott will probably take at the end, any left. So we're on the 7th right now. Fred from Reno, Nevada, would you prefer an hour sooner?
Sorry, waiting for the other stations to clear. Good evening, Roger, Vicky, and everyone else on the net. I would say negative to that. I'm still working stiff, and I don't get home until 5-ish, so I say call it good where it is. KK7OGC, back to net.
Right on, Fred. And yeah, you got through their crew chunk in there. Been a little bit of that going on, but we seem to always make it through there. And thanks for being my last QSO there for the evening. I appreciated joining everybody with the Tuesday Night Tech Net. This is KO4QMM. I am going to hand it over to my buddy Scott, W2BLT. Thanks, everybody. 73. Take it over, Scott.
KE4ZYQ question.
Folks, this is Scott, W2BLT, that station with a question you want to identify?
Yeah, this is KE4ZYQ. Didn't want to miss the net. Didn't know if they called on calls yet, but I'll wait if you aren't calling on them yet. KE4ZYQ.
I got the buck, I moved the fishing rod out to the...
Yeah, we already got the forest, Joe, but hang on there. We'll get to the Leighton Mist shortly here. There were just a couple stations in the Philippines trying to get in. You're going to have to wait till the end of the net here when we do the Leighton Mist, because we have 8s, 9s, 0s, 1s, and 2s, and then we'll have Leighton Mist, and you'll be able to get in there just fine. Like I say, I'm going to start with the 8th tonight. We have KA8 BYU, Roy and Blaisdell via the text, and W8 is DRW, DR down in Unionville, Pennsylvania. Who else do we have with an 8 in your call sign? Please come now.
Alpha Alpha 8 Whiskey India. Alpha Alpha 8 Whiskey India.
This is Kilo Bravo 8, Papa Lima Victor. This is Kilo Bravo 8, Papa Lima Victor, Chris.
This is KF8 EID, KF8 EID, Terry in Washington, Michigan.
Whiskey Delta 8, Papa India Charlie. Whiskey Delta 8, Papa India Charlie.
W8 AWD, Whiskey 8, Alpha Whiskey Delta. Delta 8, Whiskey Tango Tango, Wickenburg, Michigan.
K8 BWK, K8 BWK.
N8OAY, November 8, Oscar Alpha Yankee.
Hey, let's hold it up there. That last station coming in on the DMR bridge, we got no audio really. You want to try it again? Nothing heard. Let me acknowledge who we have here. From the bottom up, we had N8OAY, Dave, K8BWK, Ben, KD8WTT, William in Lincoln Park, Michigan. We had W8AWD, Austin in Beaumont, Texas. WD8BIC, Bob, down in Sylvania, Ohio. We had a KF8EID, Terrence in Washington, Michigan. KB8BLV, Chris up in Novi. We had AA8WI, Bernie in Portsmouth, Ohio. Anyone else with an 8 in your call sign, please come now.
Alpha 8 Kilo Yankee, AA8KY.
W8CRW called in on the text line. Alrighty, yeah, we had you at the top. I acknowledged you first thing, you and Roy. We'll get you just directly here, CR. We had AA8KY, William in Portsmouth, Ohio as well. Let's go to the top of this list. Question of the night is, would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner? Let's go to KA8 BYU, Roy in Blaisdell, New York. Evening, Roy.
Confused between which time it is. KA8 BYU. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. Either one is fine. I'm retired, so I'm here all the time, so no preference. And back to you.
Alrighty, thank you, Roy. Have a good evening. Appreciate you stopping by. Next up, W8, that's CRW, CR via the text in Unionville, Pennsylvania. Good morning, or yeah. Good evening, CR.
Very good, very good. You know, I stepped away from the radio for a moment. That's probably when you acknowledged me, so I apologize for that. And in my opinion, 8 o'clock works better. 7 o'clock's a bit too, so that's my take on it. Very good. Thank you very much for having the TechNet and 73.
RECR, yeah, and I try to plan it so that when I acknowledge people, they've gone to get a drink or something. Have a good evening. Appreciate you joining us. Next up, AA8 WI, Bernie in Portsmouth, Ohio. Good evening.
Well, good evening to you and everyone on the net, and to Miss Vicky. Well, personally, I would like to see it an hour earlier because I have very early in the morning for work. But I understand that the majority of people seem to prefer it where it is, so it doesn't really matter, I don't suppose. But my preference would be an hour earlier. Okay, I will turn it back to you and wish everyone 7-3 AA8WI.
Alrighty, thank you, Bernie. Have yourself a great evening. Let's go to KB8 PLV, Chris in Novi, Michigan. Good evening, Chris. KB8 PLV, are you still with me, Chris?
I would say that when you say 8 o'clock, it still works for me. I was able to have dinner, go for a walk, get ice cream, and come back. And I still work, so minutes later, it's better for me. So put me down to stay. Everyone have a good week ahead.
Alrighty, stay it is. Thanks for joining us, Chris. Sound like you're a little far from the repeater, but we got it. This is W2BLT. Next up, a KF8 EID. Terrence in Washington, Michigan. Good evening.
This is KF8 EID. I vote an hour early. 7 for me is better. I'm an early to bed, early to rise guy. Thanks again. Back to net control.
It is. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Next up, WD8 PIC, Bob down in Sylvania, Ohio. Good evening, Bob.
Good evening. It doesn't matter to me because I'm always here. So I'm in the it doesn't matter category. And thank everybody for doing the net. Thanks to Vicky and everybody else that keeps this system going. Back to net, WD8PIC.
Alrighty, thank you, Bob. Appreciate you joining us, and have a great evening. Rest of it. Let's go to W8AWD, Austin, out in Beaumont, Texas. Good evening.
Good evening, Scott. Everybody on the net. For the time, I'd say keep it the same. We're in Central Time, so the net starts at about 7 o'clock here. Just had a pretty good time, and used to work for everybody on the East Coast as well, so I'd say leave it there. 73. W80WD.
All right, we got you down for stay, Austin. Have a great evening. KD8WTT, William in Lincoln Park, Michigan. Looks like you're new to the system. Welcome. Is that a good call sign? WTT? about anybody in Lincoln Park, Michigan. Guess not. Moving right along. Let's go on that K8BWK, Ben out in Ohio. Good evening, Ben. What do you think? Leave it or make it an hour earlier?
Oh, good evening, Scott and everyone on tonight's Tech Neck. I couldn't tell you the last time I checked in. I'm usually in bed by now, but I came out here to turn the radio down because I had it so loud. So I don't know. It would definitely be different if we started an hour early. But then that gentleman that was out west, it would be early for them. So I guess it's a toss-up. We'll go from there, Scott. Thanks for running the net, sir. Everyone have a great night. K8BWK.
Sorry I was talking so loud, Ben. Have a good evening and enjoy it. Good night. N8OAY, Dave in Huntsville, Alabama. Good evening, Dave.
I'd kind of like to see the net start an hour later, but that's probably not good for the guys that got to be up in the morning on the East Coast. So I'll just say, whatever you guys do, go for it. And I hope one of our friends out on the West Coast, or especially those that actually live on the coast, there's been an earthquake out in the ocean, and there's a tsunami warning for Hawaii, and watch for the California and Oregon West Coast. Kind of keep your eyes open out there. N8OAY, back to that.
All right, thanks for joining us, Dave, and hopefully that tsunami warning ends up like most of them do, where it doesn't amount to much at all. Have a great evening. Last on this list, AA8KY, William, Portsmouth, Ohio. Good evening. AA8KY, William in Portsmouth, Ohio. You're still with me?
Yeah, I'm still here. That's the first time I heard it. I've been coming in on CFR and it doesn't come through all the time. But, yeah, thanks for picking me up. I'm in Portsmouth, Ohio, and it really is my first time here on this Reflector. So thanks for picking me up. That was great.
Oh, all righty, Billy. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. And have yourself a great night. And does it matter to you if we move the TechNet up an hour? Or?
Well, I'm going to leave it up to you guys. It's okay with me either way. Thanks a lot, man. Sorry, KY.
All right, thank you, Billy. We got you, and thanks for joining us. Don't be a stranger, by golly. This is W2BLT. Next up, we go to the nines. If you have a 9 in your call sign, please come now.
This is 9 Yankee 4 Delta X-ray. 9 by 4 DX, bulletproof.
since that is over, recognizing 9Y4DX, Bertrand in Trinidad and Tobago. Anybody else with a 9 in your call sign, please come now.
Delta Yankee Niner, India Victor Zulu. Delta Yankee Niner, India Victor Zulu.
Alrighty then, recognizing DY9, IVZ from the Philippines. Alright, let's go up and run these couple here. 914DX, Bertrand in Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening, my friend, and would it matter to you if we move the TechNet up 1 hour or just leave it where it is? Good evening.
Well, pleasant evening to you, Net Control, Scott. W2BLG, this is 9Y4DX, Bertrand. And my location is temporarily New Jersey in the United States. I've been here for a couple weeks. I'm here with family, spending a little while in the United States. And I'll be heading across Canada and then back home. Well, with respect to the question at hand, before that though, let me say a pleasant evening to all of the stations on the net this evening. Hope everyone is doing well and safe. And that New Jersey today was hot. I tell you, in the Caribbean we have heat, but the United States is a little hotter. Today at least. Well, with respect to the question, I think we should leave it just where it is. I have no problem with it at the 8 o'clock hour. So that's it from me. Back to you, Scott. W2BLG. This is 9Y4 here.
Alrighty, Bertrand, thanks for joining us. And it may be now, Bertrand, but if you were there in January, you wouldn't think so much. Have a good time the rest of your time up here. And thanks for joining us as always. Let's go to DY9 IVZ. Bijun in the Philippines. Good evening.
CSL, City Falling Out, Majority Controller. I hope that Sierra Kilo 4 Cubic Mike, Roger, I hope that a good evening to you. And I wish you Bravo to GQ 30. And good evening. And everyone, the families, on all stations, the conference, the radio frequencies, all this greeting for a wonderful evening. Preparing the rest time, and I will also rest it at my station here in the Philippines, part of the Davao City. Just joining for a ticket. And the morning that giving to the weather update, the important for contact for partly sunny and it's 31 Celsius. With a 70% humidity with a 8 km per hour strength wind. And that's the perspective for a question for and Texas. I'm so sorry I don't visiting. And I hope that a lot of money I'm budgeting. I went to visit with one of a lovely place and many beautiful views. And like for other countries. Back to you, sir, is Delta Yankee na Ninja Victor Zulu. 73, mabuhay. Over.
Well, thanks for joining us this evening. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again soon. That's going to do it for the 9s. Let's go to the 0s. If you have a 0 in your call sign, please come now.
N0TIS, N0TIS.
BDF, KC0 BDF, Lincoln, Nebraska.
Alrighty, recognizing N0 TIS Otis and KC0 BBF Steve. Anyone else with a 0 in your call sign, please come now. Nothing heard. Let's go to Otis out in Beaumont, Texas. N0 TIS. Good evening, Otis. And would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner or just leave it where it is?
Hey, Scott. N0 TIS, this is Otis, and yeah, to answer that question, I like it exactly where it's at, but if you changed it, it wouldn't hurt my feelings, but I do like it where it's at, so let's just keep it there. Also, if Dick's still listening, he didn't know who did the silent key tonight. That was me, N0 TIS. That was my father-in-law. He was a ham for many, many years, and now my wife is going to take over the call sign, so it's going to be a good thing. Y'all have a great evening. 73 N0 TIS.
Well, thank you for joining us, Otis. Like I say, we expressed before our condolences. Thanks for being here. KC0 BBF Steve in Lincoln, Nebraska. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, Scott. It's been a while. Other than that, I'm going here. Another hot day. The high end got up to 100 degrees there, but they're forecasting cooler temps later in the week. So it doesn't matter to me. So back to that. Have a good evening there, Scott. Zero BBS. See you in the new room.
All right, Steve. Have a good evening. Thanks for joining us. Alrighty, we're going to move on to the ones here. Via the text, we have K1KHJ Barry up in Tigard, Oregon. Who else do we have with a 1 in your call sign? Please come now.
N1 CBM, N1 CBM.
November Juliet Echo Sierra.
November 1, Whiskey Echo Bravo.
Sierra, NJ1S, Eric in Vermont.
Alrighty, recognizing from the bottom up, we have NJ1S Eric, N1 WEB Web, N1 CBM Carlos, and K1 KHJ Barry in Tigard, Oregon. The question of the evening: would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner, or just leave it where it is, or doesn't it matter? Let's go to Perry, K1 KHJ. Good evening.
Good evening, Scott, and everybody on net, and hello to Rich, if you're out there listening. I don't mind either way, 4 o'clock said it could be all right, but I'll still tune in if it's 5, so guys feel free to shift it around, whatever. So anyway, that's all I got here. 7-3, everyone. Thanks for picking me up. K1 KHJ.
Alrighty, thanks for joining us, Barry, and have a great evening. Next up, one of our team members here, Carlos, N1 is CBM down in Hollywood, Florida. Good evening, Carlos.
Good evening, Scott, Vicky, the rest of the crew. Thanks for running the net. Akron tonight. I'll fly to Kankakee, Illinois tomorrow, and then fly back to Florida around 22 Zulu, which is 5 o'clock Central Time, or 6 o'clock in the afternoon East Coast time. I'm going to run an experiment here with the ECR-1. I'm going to go out there and find a clear frequency once up in cruise phase and call CQ. The task for those who would like to participate, is just hunt me down and make the contact and tell me they got it from the ECR, participate in the ECR. That's one of the things I'd like to do tomorrow, see how it goes. 2200 Zulu, which is 6 o'clock East Coast time. I'm going to find a freak and call CQ. You guys want to hunt me down? I'll put you in the logs. And for the question of the night, Scott, it doesn't matter if it's 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. East Coast time. I'm good with either of those two time slots. Back to you, Scott, and 1 CBM. Thanks for running in it.
Ready, Carlos. And are you going to give us at least a band to look at?
Yeah, sorry. That's a bit too general. It's going to be 20 meters, and I'm not gonna go down into the extra, the extra portion of the band. It's going to be the regular 14.225 to 14.347, 350. I'll be around. You'll find me. I'll spend 30-45 minutes calling CQ. I bet I'm going to lift up a few QSOs. Back to you, Scott.
Alrighty, sounds good, Carlos. That sounds like fun. Thanks a lot, and appreciate you joining us tonight. This is W2BLT. Next up, N1 WEB Web, Collierville, Tennessee. Good evening.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Vicki, and everyone behind the scenes there. Looks like I doubled with Eric on the way in here, but I don't know how Vicki does it, but she got us both. You can put me down to just keep it the way it is. That's the way I like it. But of course, if you need to adjust it, you need to do it, and I can work with that too. You do a great job, all of you. And with that, N1 WEB, back to the net.
Web. Yeah, she gets two of you at the same time. I mean, she has 2 ears. So, have a good evening. Appreciate you joining us. NJ1S, Eric up in Shelburne, Vermont. Good evening, Eric.
Yes, good evening, Scott. Excuse me, and everyone else on the net. This is November Juliet 1 Sierra Eric in Shelburne, Vermont. We call it Sherbert, Vermont. Hi. Just kidding. I like the expression, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like Webb, he just mentioned preferring to keep it where it is, but if you need to change it, then so be it. Well, everybody, I'm sure, would do their best to try to make the new time, but it seems to work out quite well, I think, and it lasts a couple hours. So, hey, like I said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Anyway, have a good evening, Scott, and everyone else, Vicki as well, and thanks for keeping track of the log to everyone, and 7-3 to Dick as well. Back to net control from NJ1S. Over.
Well, thank you for stopping by tonight, Eric. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Alrighty, that's going to bring us on to the twos. Via the text line, we have KD2JPP Bob, WA2UUS Joel, W2RBC Randy, W2EM Chuck, PK2DY Robert, W2AJR Andy, KD2 VNU Derby Dan. Who else do we have with a 2 in your call sign? Please come now.
Kilo 2 Tango Kilo Delta. Kilo 2 Tango Kilo Delta. N2BH. N2BH. EJM.
Kilo Echo. Kilo Echo 2 Golf Juliet.
W2KJV. W2KJV.
Delta Echo 5.
righty, let's hold it up there for just a moment. Recognizing from the bottom up, we had N2 DEF. Brian of Blaisdell, looks like you're new to the system. Coming through the Lancaster repeater there. We had W2 KJV Tony. KE2 CLG Justin. We had W2 CJM Charles. N2 BH Bill. N2 TKD Garrett. Anyone else with a 2 in your call sign, please come now.
Kilo Echo 2, Juliet Kilo. Kilo Echo 2, Golf Juliet Kilo.
Alrighty, we'll hold it up there. Recognize a KE2 GJK Alexander in Liverpool, New York. Looks like you're new to the system. We had a K2 AP Joseph out in East Islip. And the rest of them I acknowledged. Well, let's go to the top of this list. The question of the day, folks. Would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner? Or leave it? Or it doesn't matter? Let's go to KD2 JPP, Bob in Gallatin, Tennessee. Good evening.
Hey, good evening, Scott, Vicky, and everybody else on the net. Calling from Central Time. I like it just the way it is. But if you moved it, majority rules, I would certainly be there. But I like it just where it is. Then back to net control. Everybody have a good week. Stay.
Alrighty, thank you, Joe. Bob, appreciate you joining us. Next up is Joel, WA2 UUS, right here in Buffalo. Good evening, Joel.
Notes on the net. With regard to the question tonight, I guess I'm a creature of habit. I'd like to keep it the same, but I agree with Bob. Of the majority rules, I could live with it. I wish everyone a nice week ahead. Be well and be safe. Thank you, Scott and Vicky.
Thanks for joining us, Joel. You have yourself a great evening. W2 RBC, one of our team members here at East Coast Reflector, Randy in West Seneca, New York. Good evening, Randy.
Good evening, Scott, Vicky, and everyone on the TechNet. I prefer the 8 o'clock Eastern starting time, especially in the summertime. Back to net control, 73 to all, W2 RBC.
Alrighty, day it is. Let's go to Chuck out in Lancaster, W2EM. Good evening.
Good evening, Scott, Vicky, and the rest of the TechNet here. I say leave it as it is. 8 o'clock is good, and especially for the people on the left coast there. So, yeah, I'd say leave it where it is. Back to net, W2EM.
Appreciate you joining us. Next up, let's go halfway around the world to Robert. PK2DY in Kellyville Ridge, New South Wales, Australia.
Good, almost afternoon, 1 minute till noon. It's Robert, Victor Kilo, 2 Delta Yankee in northwestern Sydney, where it's cold, 12 degrees Celsius, 52 Fahrenheit, and raining with the prospect of rain for the next days. I think we're at the bottom of winter here, and hopefully now we'll be headed towards spring after this is over. Anyway, well, in my winter, this net starts at 10, and in my summer, this net starts at noon. So for the summer, it would be better if the net started at 11, but in the winter, it makes no difference. So I'm sort of slightly leaning towards an hour earlier, I guess is the way I put it. The VK2D1, back to that.
Morning, Robert. Early it is. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the day. Next up, at W2 AJR, Andy in Cheektowaga, New York. Good evening, Andy.
Good evening, Scott, Vicky, everybody in the net. Well, Scott, it really doesn't matter to me. I'm going to forget when it starts, and I can do that if it starts at 8 or at 7. So, again, doesn't matter to me. 730, back to Scott, W2AJR.
Righty, Andy, and you're really too young to forget this early. Have a good evening. Next up, one of our team members, Derby Dan, KD2, VNU. Good evening, Dan.
Good evening, Scott. Good evening to everybody on the net tonight. Well, it's worked for 20 years. Let's go 20 more with the same thing. Let's leave it alone. It's worked for that long. 82 and you return back to the net.
Alrighty, Dan. You have yourself a great evening, and appreciate you joining us. K2, TKD, Garrett, Williamsville. Good evening.
TKD here. I kind of like the net right where it is. That seems like a pretty good time, and it helps our friends on the West Coast there. Back to the net.
Thank you, Garrett. Appreciate you stopping by tonight. Next up, one of our hosts on the Morning Brew in the morning. And 2BH, Bill, Elmira, New York. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening, Scott, Vicky, everybody. Personally, it doesn't matter to me, but I'm going to go with the way it is. I think you'd lose too many people out west if you went an hour earlier. And 2BH.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you joining us. Stay it is. Next up, W2 CJM, Charles in Selden, New York. Good evening.
Scott, everybody on the room. I like the way it is at 8 o'clock works for me the best. Thank you for doing a great job.
And thank you for joining us. You have yourself a good rest of the evening. Let's go to GJC, Justin in Buffalo, New York. Good evening, Justin. GJC, are you there?
Our lane to the left was open. Or, hey, I have a star, you know.
Nothing here, we'll just mark him in and out. W2, KJV, Tony, one of our subsystem facilitators here in Homestead, Florida. Good evening, Tony.
Good evening, Scott. Good evening, Vicky. Good evening, Roger. Good evening, Dick. And good evening all on the TechNet tonight. Tony here in Homestead. Scott, I'm kind of used to it being at 8 o'clock, but to consider, you know, the network controllers and everything, it's not going to matter much to me, but whatever people there decide. Back to you, Scott. Thanks. Have a great night. W2 KJV.
You as well, Tony. Thanks for joining us and have a great rest of the evening. And to DEF, Brian in Blaisdell, New York. Looks like you're new to the system. Welcome. KTF. Are you still with me? It's in and out. Let's go to K2AP, Joseph in East Islip, New York. Good evening, Joseph.
Good evening, this is K2AP. Yeah, I prefer it at 8 o'clock. Good for me. But it's not important. I mean, I could go up to 7 also. But it's a little more convenient because for example, today I just got home, so this is better. So that's my decision. K2AP, back to that. Thank you for doing this.
Alrighty, thank you, Joseph. Appreciate you joining us. Have a great evening. KE2GJK, Alexander in Liverpool, New York. Looks like you're new to the system as well. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Probably my contact since I've gotten my license. I'm kind of new to that. As far as the question for the night, you guys don't need a greenhorn telling you to switch anything up. So with that, I will send it on back to Nat. Thank you guys for doing this. K2GJK, back to Nat.
Welcome to Hand Radio. You're just making that repeater just enough so we can hear you. You have yourself a great evening, and thanks for joining us. Let's go to KQ4 UPK via the text. Wait a minute, let's not go there yet. It's time for the late and missed. If you were late to the party or missed your call district, now's your opportunity. Via the text, we had KQ4 UPK and V3TCS. Tim, who else do we have who was late and missed, wants to get on the log or talk to us tonight? Wait your call sign twice.
Kilo Charlie 5, Lima Whiskey Yankee. Kilo Charlie 5, Lima Whiskey Yankee, Galveston, Texas. Just trying to check in.
Charlie 3, Golf Delta. Kilo Charlie 3, Foxtrot Golf Delta.
Hotel Lima Hotel.
Kilo Tango 5 Alpha Charlie, Kilo Tango 5 Alpha Charlie.
Alrighty, we'll hold it up there. Recognizing KT5AC, Amal, K5HLH, Harry, and 0MSS, Ross, KD6CWI, Ruben, KC3FGD, Ray, KC5LWY, Andrew, and the rest of them I acknowledged. Let's run this list. Let's go to KQ4 UPK, Chris in Hollywood, Florida. Would you prefer the TechNet started an hour sooner?
Take care, everybody. To me, I honestly say whatever is best for you guys. So you can put me down for whatever you want. Whatever is best for you guys. KQ4 UBK, back to net. Thanks, Scott, for running the net.
Thanks for joining us this evening. Have a great one. V3TCS, Tim up in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Good evening, Tim. TCS. Tim in Windsor, you still with me? With nothing heard, let's go to KC5LWY. Andrew in Galveston, Texas. Looks like you're new to the system. Welcome.
KC5LWI. Well, thank you very much. Just got up at Houston, and you guys, Steve, I believe it is. I appreciate the check-in. I appreciate everything y'all do. I'm gonna try to make it a point to come out here and be a regular. 73, sir, and all around. KC5LWI, Galveston. Back to you, sir.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight, Andrew. And if you make your email public on QRZ, we'll get you out a welcome letter, and you can see what we're all about. Have a great night. KC3FGD, my buddy Ray down in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. Good evening, Ray.
Good evening, Scott. Everyone on the net. No, it doesn't matter to me. Whatever they decide will work for me. Everyone have a wonderful evening. KC3FGD, back to net.
Thanks, Ray. Appreciate you joining us. Sleep quick. Let's go out to the West Coast, Fallbrook, California. Ruben, KD6CWI. Good evening, Ruben. Should we move the tech net up an hour or leave it where it is?
KD6CWI, Ruben in Fallbrook, North County, San Diego. Thank you for doing the net. My personal opinion, I'll let the admins decide whether to move it or not. So I think you're doing your count on this. I'll leave mine open. Stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy. God bless everyone and their families. 73 KD6CWI.
Alrighty, thank you, Ruben. Appreciate you joining us. Great rest of the evening. N0 MSS, Ross up in Wahpeton, North Dakota. Good evening, Ross.
Good evening, Scott, and everybody on the net. Just got done mowing lawn here in time to make it for the late show, so glad it was still going. My vote, I like it the way it is, so if it stays there, I'm fine. And hope everybody has a good day. N0 MSS.
Alrighty, Ross, stay it is. Thanks for joining us, and have a good evening. K5HLH, Harry, Grants, New Mexico. Good evening.
K5HLH, Harry, Grants, New Mexico. Well, I like it an hour early. The west side. We start at 6 and don't get back till 8:30, so an hour earlier would be great for us on the folks that are traveling home around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's kind of time. 73, back to that, K5HLH.
Thanks for joining us, Harry, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Let's go to KT5AC, Amal out in Katy, Texas. Good evening.
Good evening, Scott, and everybody on the net. The current time of the TechNet works just fine for me, so no change needed from my side. 73, everyone. Back to net control. This is Kilo Tango 5 Alpha Charlie.
Alrighty, Amal, you have yourself a great evening. Thanks for joining us. And the last one tonight, the text line was N8MJN Marson at Sterling Heights, Michigan. Good evening.
Hey, good evening, Scott, Vicky, and everybody else on the TechNet. My preference is the later the better. Most of the time I end up being late and missed, as I am tonight. Just have some responsibilities, putting my daughter down and stuff like that. So, the later the better, but, you guys run the show, and we all try to join when we can. So, With that, I'll say 73s. Everybody have a great night. Stay safe. And 8MGN, back to the next troll.
Alrighty, Marson, and we appreciate when you do stop by. Have a great evening, and everybody that checked in tonight, whether you had a question and answer, just checked in to say hello, we appreciate it. And that's going to do it for us for tonight. On behalf of Nick, WB2JPQ, Roger, KO4QMM, and Vicky on the log, KE8PKY, this is Scott, wishing everybody a great evening and returning Reflector to normal amateur use. This is W2BLT 73, everyone.
KE4 said YQ, tried to check time.
And B3IQU with a very quick question.
And KO4WDF tried to check in a few times too.
We don't get accounted for. KE4 is UIQ. I tried to check in 3 times. 7-3 to all on frequency, I guess.
Yep, I reckon we don't matter.
B2JPQ, B3IQU, just about 15 seconds your time there, Dick, if you're there, B3IQU.
I'm that controller he is. Alright, Rex, this stuff will get B2JPQ.
Thanks for coming back to me there, Dick. It's B3IQU. Just a very quick question. And that is, have you heard anything out of, oh golly, what was his name, honey? Harold out there in Washington State. I haven't heard anything out of Harold for a very long time, and I'm hoping he's okay. Have you heard anything out of him at all? B3IQU.
Passed away several months back. We remembered him here on the TechNet, but several months back, Harold passed away, Rich.
Harold, sorry, Dick, did you say he passed away? Is that what you said, B3IQU?
Yeah, Harold W2HR passed away several months back. We remembered him one night here on the TechNet, and it's on our Facebook page. I don't know if you follow Facebook, but yep, Harold's Silent Key.
Oh my golly, I did not know. I guess I wasn't listening on that particular time, Dick, but I'm so sorry about that. He was a super nice guy. I really like Harold a lot. Anyway, thank you for the information, Dick. I much appreciate it. I've been wondering about him for quite some time. B3IQU. Have a great week there, Dick.
You as well, Reg. This is WB2JPQ.
somebody dumbass.